This is CGTN, China Global Television Network.
The Confederation of African Football has revised the minimum number of players who can start a match in case of COVID-19 positive cases following widespread allegations that teams were weaponizing the pandemic to gain advantage across the continent. On tonight's edition of Sports Scene, we take an in-depth look into the topic that has ignited huge debate and controversy. Hello and a very warm welcome to Sports Scene wherever you're joining us. This is your home of African sports news from the continent and beyond. I'm Mahia Mutua in Nairobi. Also coming up, Zimbabwe champions FC Platinum alleged testing bias for COVID-19 in CAF Champions League clash. And water tubing draws rising tourist numbers in the Kenyan coastal city of Mombasa. We begin with football. The Confederation of African Football has modified the minimum number of players allowed to start a match in its competitions to 11 as COVID-19 continues to wreak havoc on the game. This comes after several clubs and national teams were affected by the infections in recent continental fixtures. CGTN's Adel Makhroui reports now from Cairo.
Since CAF announced its COVID-19 requirements last November, national and club sides across the continent have borne the brunt of the coronavirus. Several teams failed to raise the previous minimum requirement of 15 players, among them a registered goalkeeper, who tests negative for the disease. Accordingly, CAF has decided to ease the requirement after the second wave of the pandemic swept Africa.
CAF tried to copy the regulations of other continental confederations. Despite being a global trend, in Africa, things weren't moving smoothly. The North African Under-20 qualifiers saw the first major crisis. I believe it's an important decision that will save African football, especially after the pandemic's impact on club competitions.
It's a very late decision from CAF. Had it been taken earlier, we would have avoided many delays. Like last year's Champions League semi-final between Zamalek and Raja. The competition would have ended earlier and we could have avoided the hectic schedule Africa is witnessing this season. We would also have avoided the many withdrawals we've seen in the Confederations Cup and Champions League because of COVID-19.
CAF is now requiring teams to only have 11 healthy players to play a continental game. If all goalkeepers in a team test positive, the Confederation says any outfield player can replace them.
CAF is looking at this crisis from an economic perspective. The revenues lost from competitions. Every cancelled match equals less money from sponsors. CAF is trying to avoid that, so it could assure a steady flow of finances to at least complete this football season. So it's exclusively financial. 11 players with no goalkeeper gives no indication that the technical aspect is considered at all.
COVID-19 infections have seen last season's inter-club knockout stages postponed for months. Egypt's team was disqualified from the North African qualifiers of the Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations due to the previous regulations. The new rules come amid allegations of biased PCR testing in CAF Champions League and Confederation Cup matches.
CAF has made a compromise in the number of players to avoid another African football lockdown, but that might not be enough to face the second wave of the pandemic. Some African countries have imposed restrictions for travel. Others are forcing a long-term quarantine for inbounding international flights, and that will definitely clash with CAF's tight football schedule. Adel Makhroui, CGTN, Cairo.
Well, the CAF Confederations Cup clash between Nigeria's River United and Bloemfontein Celtic from South Africa had to be shifted to the Republic of Benin due to COVID-19 related reasons. But as CGTN's Deji Badmus reports, the decision had serious implications for both teams.
Call it a clash between health and sport, and you may not be entirely wrong. Nigeria's Rivers United was due to host the second leg of the Confederation Cup match against South Africa's Bloemfontein Celtic in the southern city of Port Harcourt, but with the Nigerian government insisting the South African side comply with its COVID-19 rules for travellers from South Africa, something the South African side were not willing to do, the match had to be shifted to the coastal city of Porto Novo in Nigeria's next-door neighbour Benin.
Football is business. Apart from the business of football, there are also other businesses that are affected by coronavirus. Why must we create a separate rule for the business of football, even though the business has to go on, against other businesses as well? Why must we do that? Rules are rules. If you begin to relax rules, if you begin to give moratorium, then you also have to give moratorium to a whole lot of people who will come with their own requests.
Playing the match in Porto Novo came at a huge cost for the Nigerian side, with Rivers United having to bear almost the entire expenses of Bloemfontein Celtic.
They were not barred from coming to Nigeria. It's only that they have a 7-day quarantine period to stay, which they don't want to comply with. We should not have even suggested the issue of neutral ground, because it's like playing into the hands of the South Africans. So that's what we have done. And now we have to bear the cost of both our teams and their team.
But beyond cost, there's also the issue of home advantage.
It is the host team that is at a loss. Because one, you are supposed to play on home soil. Now you don't even get the advantage of playing on home soil. You have to say, go and play outside your home ground. Psychologically, that is telling on the host team.
Under COVID-19 rule, the home advantage has been neutralized. And you don't have your supporters behind you, hailing you, urging you to win. So the only advantage you will have playing at home is that you already understood the terrain. You know how to play on that particular turf. You are used to it.
CAF is doing all it can to make it possible for football to continue under the pandemic. It's relaxed its rules on the minimum number of players needed to start a game. But if the COVID-19 situation on the continent does not improve soon, then we're likely to see more clashes of this nature going forward. And if the current wave of COVID-19 gets worse, a complete suspension of football in some countries cannot be completely ruled out. Deji Badmos, CGTN, Lagos, Nigeria.
Well, staying in West Africa, Ghanaian football giants Asante Kotoko are challenging their elimination from the CAF Champions League, claiming that COVID-19 results during their two-legged preliminary round clash against Al Hilal of Sudan were falsified. 4 players of the Ghanaian club tested positive, leading to the cancellation of the match after Kotoko failed to present a minimum of 15 players required for the game. That's according to the previous CAF rules. The Porcupine Warriors are now reportedly considering taking the matter to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, with football analysts and Kotoko supporters in Ghana reacting to the development.
I think the rules are quite clear. Kumasi Asante Kotoko did have other tests to confirm if indeed the players are tested positive for COVID-19. And it was quite clear that indeed those players are tested positive for COVID-19. So I don't know what Kumasi Asante Kotoko will be arguing on now, especially based on the fact that CAF did set the rules straight right from the start of the competition. And also, you look at it from the point that CAF have moved on with the competition. Kumasi Asante Kotoko will now have to play in the CAF Confederation Cup. The draw has already been made. They have to play against DSTV. I think that they just have to move on from that episode, because they themselves have benefited from, the rule that they are going to challenge at CAS. They have benefited from it before. So I think that for me, it's not a worthy cause for Kumasi Asante Kotoko to attempt to even pursue this matter at CAS.
I was wishing that in the first time for a very long while, a team from Ghana will go to the money zone. So I will not tell the Kotoko team to end it now. They should take it up, go to the Court of Arbitration for them to seek justice, because I think I'll be okay with that.
It's quite disappointing, and I think partly we have to blame CAF with the way things have been done in terms of the COVID testing. Because when you look at the statement that came from Kumasi Asante Kotoko, they were like, some of the information that were given out were actually wrong. They didn't trust the COVID results from Al Hilal, who were the home team. And so for me, it's quite disappointing, and I think CAF would have to look at those things. And Kotoko as a club, a very big club from Ghana, I think they should push. They should push for us to get the reasons. They have to do something at least to compel CAF to make the right decisions when it comes to this COVID things.
You're watching Sports Scene here on CGTN. It's time for us to take a short break, but don't go anywhere. Here's what's coming up. Zimbabwe champions FC Platinum alleged testing bias for COVID-19 in CAF Champions League clash.
How would you create your legend? On the fields, on the tracks, in the arenas of Africa. Were you born to be a player? Could this moment be yours? Sports Scene. Find your game.
Welcome back. Now, regulations recently unveiled by CAF to enable teams to honor continental fixtures during the pandemic need to be backed by closer management of PCR testing and results to ensure participating teams are not disadvantaged. Zimbabwe champions Platinum FC have lodged a case with CAF after alleging biased testing in their Champions League match against Simba SC of Tanzania. CGTN's Farai Mwakutuya brings us more.
FC Platinum alleged biased COVID-19 testing, which ruled out 6 key players ahead of the crucial encounter, and was also up in arms because the test results were veiled to the home team first. Local analysts feel the case was a litmus test for the continental governing body.
I think that if the FC Platinum case, it would have been a golden opportunity for CAF to stamp its authority on the basis that there is an opportunity for COVID to be weaponized by teams. In other words, we're taking a team into an unknown country, unknown quantity. So labs can be manipulated, results can be manipulated, and all sorts. So I think CAF needed to do that, the management around testing, the collection of results, management of results a lot cleaner. Yes, the intervention about being able to field a squad, even though you've got positive cases, helps. But in truth, the fact still remains that our star players, if we're playing on the continent, can still be removed from the mix if the host team plays its cards correctly, in inverted commas.
The depleted Zimbabwean side went down 4-0 and now, chasing glory in the Confederations Cup, hopes to avoid similar controversy.
It's a learning curve for everyone, and I think not least of all FC Platinum. They have learned their lesson, and no doubt now in the Confederations Cup they're going to be a lot more careful. I think the advanced party is going to work a lot harder to ensure that those results are managed right through the process until they get to the match commissioner of the day.
FC Platinum's preparations have suffered due to a lack of game time. There has been no competitive football played here since 2019. The 2020 season was written off due to COVID-19, and now a new spike in infections threatens to delay the start of the 2021 league. Farai Mwakutuya, CGTN, Harare, Zimbabwe.
In Tanzania, accusations of tampering with COVID-19 results leveled against league winners Simba during their CAF Champions League showdown with FC Platinum of Zimbabwe have elicited mixed reactions. Here is CGTN's Isaac Lukando with that story.
Simba Sports Club has qualified for the group stages of the Confederation of African Football Championships, but 2 of their recent opponents claim that Simba tampered with COVID-19 test results to eliminate their key players before matches. The club and the Tanzania Football Federation have declined to comment on the matter.
It's not just Simba that is facing these allegations which are yet to be proved. There are other clubs like APR of Rwanda and KCCA of Uganda. There's also Asante Kotoko of Ghana. The surprising thing here is that some of these players test negative for COVID-19 in their home countries, but when they go to guest countries for matches, they test positive. This is something confusing.
wanakuwa wako negative.
FC Platinum was told 5 key players had tested positive for COVID-19 moments before their decisive CAF Champions League encounter with Simba Sports Club. Similar complaints came from Nigerian outfit Plateau United.
If these allegations are found to be true, the major thing that will disappear from football is fair play. Fair play has a big meaning in football. If it is not there, it means conflict and enmity will emerge between one team and another, and even one nation and another. Also, football itself won't grow.
Nigeria's Plateau United has since taken up the matter with the Confederation of African Football. This is after claiming that the affected players were negative when they retested them at a private hospital. With the possibility of several players in a team testing positive for COVID-19 before a match, the Confederation of African Football, CAF, has recently modified the minimum number of players that can start a match. According to the new rules, if a team does not have a minimum of 15 players, it will be considered to have lost the match by 2-0. Football fans in Tanzania have differing views on the notion of teams tampering with their players' COVID-19 test results.
Simba playing around with COVID-19 test results cannot be true because everyone saw the game they played, that they deserved the result they got. Not only the game they played here in Dar es Salaam, but in Zimbabwe too.
Telling fans that this player won't play and then they play is drama in soccer. This is not acceptable. Elsewhere, if they say this player is not playing because they have COVID, it is because they really do have COVID-19.
While the truth of the allegations against Simba Sports Club are yet to be proven, fans around the continent will undoubtedly be hoping that the COVID-19 pandemic won't be used as a weapon against other teams in the game they love. Isaac Lukando, CGTN, Dar es Salaam.
Well, football experts in Africa are still grappling with increasing number of complaints from football clubs alleging manipulation of COVID-19 test results by their opponents. The trend, according to some experts, is a foul tactic deployed by some home teams to enjoy undue advantage.
I think CAF Champions League and CAF Confederation Cup are the most lucrative, prestigious tournaments we have in Africa. And there's big money to be made. You know, local leagues in Africa don't have much money to be made. If you make it to the group stage of the CAF Champions League and the CAF Confederation Cup, money comes in. So at the moment, clubs will do anything to ensure they get to the group stage and get to the CAF, to the latter stages, that is the semis and the final. So in Africa, they will do anything. We've seen clubs before, switching lights in the changing room, throwing weird stuff in the changing rooms of opponents. So now we have a weapon in this pandemic. So if CAF again through FIFA and the respective government agencies don't crack a whip, we are going to have a big problem. Well, it has happened. We've had complaints in Nigeria. We've had complaints in Ghana with Asante Kotoko. We've had complaints with Plateau United in Nigeria. We've had complaints with Simba in Tanzania. And the reality is, I think CAF hands are tied. Because, it's like edge cheating. These players, in as far as they're 30 years or 40 years, if they present with a genuine government document saying that they are 16, there's nothing much you can do. If they've gone to a government hospital and the MRI tests say that they are 16 yet they are 40, because of our corrupt systems, then there's nothing much you can do. It's the same with COVID. If a club like Simba provides COVID certificates indicating that all their players are COVID negative and it's from a government approved hospital, then there's nothing CAF can do. I think what they need to do now is, have a centralized lab where, and probably work in collaboration with the health ministries of each country, that if a team is coming to play in Tanzania, they only need to be tested at a particular hospital. And this hospital sends these results directly to CAF, the centralized lab in CAF. I think that's just much what CAF can do at the moment. There's nothing much they can do. As far as I know, clubs will continue doing this until CAF cracks the whip and has good collaborations with the government through the respective ministries of health. Because if they don't act now, then it's going to be a big problem. It will trickle up to the AFCON qualifiers and World Cup qualifiers, and it will be a big problem, just like match fixing now is really affecting football globally, and FIFA, CAF have tried to deal with it and it's become a pandemic.
Well, a number of African football teams have lodged complaints with the continent's governing body protesting what they call manipulated COVID-19 test results. CAF is yet to speak on the matter, citing confidentiality of the issues at hand. Here are just some of the known clubs to have complained about suspicious COVID-19 test results. The Confederation of African Football has banned Football Kenya Federation Chief Executive Officer Barry Otieno and team manager Ronnie Onyando for breaching COVID-19 regulations during their 2021 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier against Comoros. The FKF was also fined $20,000. According to CAF, the duo was banned from continental football activities for 6 months each after they allegedly tore apart PCR test copies of the Kenyan team. CAF said their actions exposed the opponent's players and staff to the virus, with 4 Kenyan players who had tested positive for COVID-19 taking to the field of play in the game Comoros won 2-1 last November. Otieno has denied the allegations but added that he will not contest the ban. Well, it's time for us to take another short break here on Sports Scene. Here's what's coming up. Water tubing draws rising tourist numbers in the Kenyan coastal city of Mombasa.
You don't find the stories of North Africa by sitting on the sidelines. You've got to get out, go there, and you'll find them. In the bazaars of Casablanca. Among the crowds in Cairo.
We've come to visit Cairo, the ancient capital of Egypt.
Along the waters of the Nile. Along the sands of the Sahara. No one else will take you where we can in North Africa. No one else will show you what it's all about. CGTN, see the difference.
Welcome back. Let's move away from football now. The Kenyan coast is one of the most popular tourist destinations in Africa. The south coast of Mombasa is emerging as a big attraction for ocean sport lovers, with the newest thrill, water tubing, drawing huge numbers. CGTN's Mohammed Abubakar tells us more.
Mombasa is best known for its white sandy beaches, warm weather and amazing facilities to enjoy vacation. However, unknown to many, there are other fun activities apart from swimming and boat rides.
Okay, tubing is a kind of water sports where you come and then you are given your life jackets. You get onto a rubber tube and you have somewhere where you hold and the jet ski is pulling you. You're sitting at the back. You don't need to have experience of knowing how to do the jet ski. There is an experienced driver there. He will take you out.
We usually have different types of tubes. We have one called the Mabel. It's not easy to fall into the water when riding this one. And of course, it depends on how the jet ski pulls the tube. We also have the banana tube. Many love this one because it's easier to fall off it.
The jet ski driver is key to the fun. Falling or not falling depends on how the jet ski is driven.
If you don't want them to fall off the tube, you have to drive the jet ski straight, avoid making many turns with the jet ski, and also maintain a slow and steady speed. But if you want the guys on the tube to fall, you have to make a lot of turns with the jet ski at a higher speed, because making sharp turns at high speeds means you automatically create waves with the jet ski, so it becomes almost a guarantee that they will fall.
As it is the norm with many leisure water sports activities, getting wet is the ultimate fun.
The fun part in the banana tube, it's like falling from the tube. That's amazing. Yeah. When you fall, that's when you get like the excitement which you had like mostly on the waves. When we have the waves are in, that's when you enjoy mostly. And it's the most fun tube which I've enjoyed over here.
In its 30 years of existence, Aquadrome Water Sports Centre has become famous on the Mombasa coastline for its various water sporting activities, and tubing has become a major crowd puller.
Tubes has been really successful here. We get a lot of youngsters coming for the tubes. Also old people, they like the banana tube and other tubes as well. So it's quite good.
Mohammed Abubakar for CGTN, Mombasa, Kenya.
Elsewhere, South African boxer Rhino Liebenberg will donate his entire fight purse to a children's charity when he takes to the ring in the last fight of his decade-long career. The gesture has been met with overwhelming support and has seen members of the public reach out to donate even more. CGTN CS du Plessis reports.
The veteran super middleweight boxer finds himself 2 weeks into his camp for his final fight on South African soil in March. And although he's working extremely hard to win the bout that brings the curtain down on his career, he isn't motivated by the money, but by where his proceeds will go to help those in need.
Sooner or later, you need to realize you need to give back as well, and for the future generation, and help people. And yeah, the time has come. I'm at the end. This is my last big local fight, so I'm going to give to the local community.
The 37-year-old family man was inspired to donate his purse by his young family and will be writing the names of other contributors on his white fight shorts, which he will leave unbranded for the fight to increase the donation amount.
So I've got 3 small children, and on a daily basis I see kids suffer, and I see what my kids have and what we do and what others don't. So it's the future. Kids are the future generation, so you need to look after them, and there's no better place to give.
Liebenberg boasts a record with 20 wins, 7 defeats and 1 draw, and has fought all over the world, including Monte Carlo, Sweden and Germany. But the powerful pugilist is targeting one more W when he faces the undefeated Rowan Campbell.
I've never been a guy that cares what happens in the fight, but I obviously want to win. He wants to win. And I just want to roll. I want to fight. I want to fight. That's it. Yeah, I just want to roll.
After a 10-year career, the man who has only been knocked out twice in that time has this advice for anyone aiming to get into the sport.
Work hard and take your time. Don't rush it. There's time in boxing. You're going to have ups and downs. Take your time and work towards a certain goal, and then try and achieve it. That's it.
Professional boxers spend weeks preparing for and sometimes months waiting for fights, living fight purse to fight purse, with the earnings from the upcoming fight dangling like a golden carrot in the distance. That is why the gesture by the man known as the Lion is truly incredible and a fitting way to sign off on his stellar career. Hang up the gloves one last time and leave a lasting legacy. CS du Plessis, CGTN, Johannesburg.
And that's all we have for you on this week's edition of Sports Scene. See you again same time next week. Do remember you can send your feedback to the contacts on your screen now and give us a follow on our digital media platforms. We leave you with our sports moment. Freshman athlete Zia Holman has gone viral after her stunning comeback in a US university relay race, which was caught on camera.
Indiana breaks for the pole. They will lead as the Anchors get underway. Holman with the baton for Michigan. We keep an eye on her. Facility record holder in the 600 in her very first race here in Michigan. She was going after it. Michigan now in the second. 25:03 Zia Holman's opening 200. Indiana, Michigan, Ohio State. Indiana, Michigan, Ohio State. Zia Holman from Norway. And Michigan is going to win the women's 4x4.